heck, we're phony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
Much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker underneath Kello Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage. Really great to have you along this morning. Carolyn Levitt, I think she's a rock star. White House press secretary. I've said this before. I think she is a rock star. And so this was yesterday, at the White House press briefing, Carolyn Levitt going after Caitlin Collins of CNN. She was trying to stir up trouble about the latest economic news. And Collins said, so we've covered the economy. There are mixed signals of what that looks like. And a reporter who started saying, we're not saying that we're talking about inflation and whatnot. We are not saying it wasn't high under Biden. And Levitt immediately jumped in. She said, well, nobody reported on it being high under Biden. My predecessor was standing at this podium, but now you want to ask me a lot of questions about it, which I'm happy to answer. But I will just add that there's a lot more scrutiny on this issue from the press corps than there was. And then you had reporters, chiming in and whatnot and saying that Trump declared that there was no inflation in the United States this year. And Levitt said, well, the previous administration said that too. My predecessor stood up at this podium and she said inflation doesn't exist. She said that the border was secure. And you people just took her at her word, and those were two utter lies. Everything I'm telling you is the truth, backed by real factual data, and you don't want to report on it because you want to push untrue narratives about the president. Wow. It was phenomenal. I watched that clip yesterday. I'm like, in fact, I think it was on Twitter. I follow Carolyn Levitt on X. And if you're on X, if you're on that platform, by the way, welcome. If you're viewing us on X, we live stream there as well. We live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and on X. So 3 different places you can see us. And we're picking up more and more folks at X. But I follow Carolyn Levitt on X. And if you're on the platform, I suggest that you do too. I think she is just a firebrand. And I like her. I appreciate what she's saying. So the media trying to control the narrative and Carolyn Levitt just not allowing them to do it. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, Elon Musk and Gavin Newsom have gotten into it. Started with California Governor Gavin Newsom, and Newsom's press office had responded to a clip posted by Musk's America PAC and they responded to this and saying, we're sorry your daughter hates you, Elon. These people are just nasty. These are nasty, nasty people. And so Elon Musk shot it back and he said he loves his son. He said, I assume you're referring to my son, Xavier, who has a tragic mental illness caused by the evil woke mind virus you push on vulnerable children, Musk said. I love Xavier very much, and I hope he recovers. And then he spoke about his daughters. He said, my daughters are Azure, Y, Arcadia, and they do indeed love me very much. Isn't that crazy? And they're hitting him over. Gavin Newsom, I just think is a despicable character. And as he positions himself for a run here for president, I don't think there's any question that Gavin Newsom's going to be running for president. He is just this level of vitriol and hatred that are coming from Democrats. Expect that to get worse. I honestly believe between now and the midterm elections, we are going to see this get worse. And especially between now and the next national elections, the next presidential election, I just think it's going to get worse and worse. And it just amazes me. What is it? Are people's lives so empty? Are they just that they have got nothing that anchors them at all? I can't imagine where this comes from. And it's kind of interesting. I was listening to Kim Commando this morning, and she was we run her a couple of features that she does, the daily digital minute, and there's another. And she was talking about how this level of vitriol and whatnot sells on social media. This is what people want. You know, you're on Facebook, and I see this on my Facebook comments. You know, I see it in the comments that people love that, you know, they just want to fight with you, and everything's nasty. I just can't imagine that being my life and being centered on that. I mean, I may not sound like it, but I want to be a Christ-centered person. I want to be centered on Jesus Christ, and I want to very much keep in mind, you know, his sacrifice on the cross for me and what that meant. And I want to hold that right here in my heart every day. I don't always live by it, like all of us, you know, we slip, we fall, but I just watch that level of vitriol, and whether it's Gavin Newsom or Jasmine Crockett, you know, there's just nothing there. I mean, I watch these folks and I listen to them, and I will pull up their speeches, and there is nothing there that I can identify with and that I can relate to. And it's just absolutely, I think it's kind of mind-blowing. Speaking of that, there's a story at the New York Post this morning. Amherst College, it's an elite liberal arts school, says the New York Post. They held a disgusting orientation performance where students mimicked sex acts. That's the headline. So some of the students say they were forced to sit through a disgusting orientation performance. And I watched the video of it this morning. Yeah, it's disgusting. Where people mimicked sex acts on stage, showered condoms like confetti on the crowd. Footage was obtained by the Washington Free Beacon. Captured students pretending to have sex, moaning loudly, thrusting under blankets during this performance. Here are some of the photos. You can find this story at the New York Post. Apparently the Washington Examiner released the video, so it must be there as well. One junior said, I'm not going to denigrate myself by showing you any of the images. It's just disgusting. One junior said she was so disturbed by the grossly sexual skit that she couldn't wait she wanted to get out of there. She said, I thought about leaving 10 minutes in. I'm not someone who breaks rules or skips mandatory events, but it was disgusting enough that it almost forced me to leave. So it's, again, oh man, it's just, you can find the story at the New York Post, but it's, again, that's what you're about. That's, you know, I just, that kind of stuff, I just can't get my arms around it. I just can't. Just doesn't make any kind of sense to me, that folks are doing that, and I sound like such an old timer anymore. I'm 62 years old, and I never thought I would sound like, the old guys like, well, in my day, that's totally me. That's totally me. And you watch what's going on and what's happening, and it's so incredibly disturbing. I've got to believe that a lot of you feel this way as well. So incredibly disturbing that they're holding on to that, and an orientation for college that you're being subjected to that. I mean, that would, now I understand. I was young once. I get it. I was a young guy once, disgusting in my own ways. Still am, I'm sure, to some. But it's just absolutely remarkable the level of just, I will say, depravity, because that's what it seems like. And I can't believe I'm the only guy who looks at that and just shakes my head and goes, just finds it really disgusting. I don't have a lot of other stuff this morning. There was one other story involving Attorney General Pam Bondi yesterday. And we're still talking about that Venezuelan oil tanker. And Bondi framed the seizure of that crude oil tanker as a straightforward sanctions enforcement action based on a federal court warrant. And Bondi said the tanker, which has been sanctioned for moving illicit Venezuelan and Iranian oil, moving it between the two countries. So it was taken into custody by the Coast Guard with some help from the Department of War, the War Department, after investigators executed a warrant. And that's what Pam Bondi is saying what was going on. So they're trying to frame this carefully. The tanker had been on U.S. sanctions list for several years, allegedly moving crude tied to Venezuela into Iran. So that is, like everything else, the legacy media runs with those stories, takes off with those stories, and they still seem to be desperate, don't they, to get a foothold so that they can criticize the Trump administration. They want to bring the Trump administration crashing down, which is one of the reasons why I love Carolyn Levitt so much. As I was sharing those comments from Carolyn Levitt with you earlier, I watched that yesterday. I watched that clip, and she didn't raise her voice. She didn't get all upset. She did very matter-of-factly saying, hey, this is what's going on. And you people were absolutely silent, during the Joe Biden administration. And now you're hammering on this and that. And it was really beautifully done. I'm going to leave it there for the week. Thank you so much for letting me join you this morning. You have made it to the end of the video, so you're part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks here each and every day. I value all of you. If you have not yet subscribed on YouTube, please do so. I've got a growing number of you that are. Very slowly, but we're shooting for 600. I think I was at 508 as of this morning. So we're at 508. We're shooting for 600. Please help me get there. If you're not a subscriber on YouTube, please become one. And hit that like button if you would. It's really greatly appreciated. So my friend, you have a wonderful weekend. I will see you again on Monday. Until then, I'm underground and gone.